Oh, look, that's the foghorn going off again. Hopefully, nobody hears it. Welcome to another episode of Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am one of your hosts, Sophie, but I have a randomly generated fantasy name to be today, I guess. That's how you say that.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Absolutely crushed it. I've only done this 35 times before. Anyway, my randomly generated fantasy name for the day is Patty Right Cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
Patty
Yeah.
Right Cheeks? Yeah.
Wow.
You know, not the left ones. Just only the
Just
right
gotta give
ones.
those right cheeks a good pat.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a name with connotations.
Yup.
Sure is, which we
Wow.
won't go into on this family-friendly podcast.
Well,
Yes.
Who are you guys?
my name is Sam, and today, though, I can be called Yevfon Goodbetter.
Yeah.
Good better.
Good better.
Yeah. Goodbetter.
Wow. You're the bad guy for sure.
That is Sir Goodbetter to you.
Oh. Excuse me.
Oh, I love that.
I got to exude the villain energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're good, but better than most people are good.
I'm the better good. I'm
Yeah.
good better.
No.
Not
Someone
good
else-
best, though, so.
Yeah, someone else is good best.
Oh, I must find them and destroy them.
That's how
Your
you become the
nemesis.
good best.
Yeah, right?
Great. Well, I am also here. My name is Hannah, but for the purposes of today's podcast, you can call me Ever Lone Worm.
Whoa! A lone
Yeah.
worm.
Ever
Wow.
Lone worm.
worm.
Ever
Aw.
Lone Worm. Right?
That's
like,
that's like a good one.
I actually low-key really like it. I'm like,
I kind of
dang,
like it.
it's a good
That's really
name.
cute.
Yeah.
It is cute.
Aw, Ever's like a cute name.
Yeah. I think I'm like thinking of this in the perspective of my next D&D character. She's like
Yeah.
a ranger, right?
Oh, I was thinking
Yeah.
druid, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
Aw.
both work.
I like
Yeah.
Ever Lone Worm.
me too.
Anyway, we're talking about Aragon. We read 2 more chapters of Aragon this week. So, how about you guys tell us what happened in them?
Well, in Thunder, Roar, and Lightning Crackle, which really, really makes me want to go Thunder, Roar, and Lightning, very, very frightening me, Galileo. Anyways, we get mostly a tame 3-day adventure across the plains until they shockingly encounter a storm, where Saphira,
Whoa.
instead of flying over the storm for some reason, decides to come down and almost kill herself and Aragon. But no one actually dies. Everyone's okay. They make camp, and then they fall asleep. And that's it.
Wow.
That's the chapter.
That's what happened.
Yep.
That's really it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hannah?
Good, fulfilling chapter.
a good chapter. Well, in Revelationat Yazuac, Aragon and Brahm arrive in Yazuac. Nobody else seems to be there, which is super suspicious, and then they find the entire population of the town brutally murdered and stacked in the town square. Cool! Brahm somehow figures out that this massacre was carried out by Urgles, not the Razak, and and he says Razak. And he kind of comments under his breath that it's unusual to see Urgle gatherings of this size. But oh no, some of them are still here. Aragon and Brahm are ambushed by a pair of Urgles who end up chasing Aragon into a dead-end alley. As Aragon prepares to make his final stand, he is filled with a burning fury, and he yells, Brissinger, which is a swear word from the previous chapter, as he shoots his arrow. The arrow crackles with energy, explodes, and kills both of the Urgles, and Aragon collapses against a wall.
Dang, that was like more exciting than the chapter.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You did a
It's
good
because
job
I
with the
did it in fewer
narration.
words.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Somehow. The chapter's only like 3 pages.
Yeah.
But also, like, how is that a children's book? That was
Yeah.
like
Pretty
not
gruesome.
comfy to read.
That gave
Yeah.
me powerful Poppy Wars vibes.
Me too. Like literally,
Yeah.
that's what I thought of, and I'm like, the Poppy War is a dark fantasy, like known for how brutal it is, and like that was the first thing I thought of reading that chapter. I was just like, what?
Yeah. The image that particularly stands out to Aragon and therefore to us is a baby that has been skewered on a giant black spear, and he like comes to this a couple of times through the chapter. And if I'm remembering correctly, this is also like a thing that comes up later on many times in the series. Like I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure this
God.
is a very catalytic event for Aragon, which is understandable.
Yeah.
It gave me Hannibal TV show vibes. There was
Yeah.
like that one episode where there were all of those bodies like arranged in some kind of artistic spiral, and it was like real creepy.
Well, yeah, because it's like you don't stack bodies unless you're
Yeah.
planning on someone to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the implication that the Urgles didn't just like murder the whole town. They'd like murdered them and then brought all the bodies together
Yeah.
to make a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just
Anyway.
disturbing. So disturbing. I was like, this is because like it's shelved in middle grade, isn't it? Like if you go to a bookstore.
I think it's YA now. Yeah.
Oh, is it YA now? Okay,
Yeah.
I guess like YA, you have the Hunger Games, teenagers killing each other, and far worse. But like still,
Yeah.
Like it's kind of wild because I don't remember this scene
yeah.
when
Yeah,
I
me neither.
initially read it. Like this scene didn't stand out to me as like, oh, I remember this scene, you know? Which is like, damn, was I just not like
You're
phased
jaded.
by it as like a 12-year-old?
I mean, maybe it's just like not having the emotional development yet to like realize
like
how
understand
brutal
what it is. Yeah.
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 I read and like told some pretty gruesome stories as a kid, because I think kids just don't
You
care
can't like
as much.
conceptualize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't realized their own mortality yet.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Well, and like the grosser you can make something, it's like more fun almost. Like I remember getting in trouble
Yeah.
at school because me and one of my friends rewrote one of the church hymns to be this like
Oh no.
song about a chicken with its head cut off. And we thought it was hilarious. And we all
That
got like
sounds
pulled in
funny.
after class, and like the teachers like sat us down and had a chat with us because like somebody wrote it down because we were like trying to work it and make it as like funny as possible.
Oh my god.
And like thinking back on it, I'm like, I understand why these teachers were concerned. But at the time I was like, I don't get it. Like it's
Yeah.
just like a joke. It's funny. It's like it's not really that funny.
I'm just like, no.
It's a little concerning when it comes from a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Just no filters at 12. Just
No.
everything is funny.
Yeah.
Maybe as a child you're like, yeah, but this would never happen in real life. And then as an adult you're like, no, it could.
It
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're like just traumatized by the world by the time you're 30. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, and as a child, yeah, you just think you're invincible. So it's like
Mhm.
your own mortality has not yet hit you. And so you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, yeah, this is just all made up. It's fine. And then in your 30s, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Nothing's made up, everything's real. They just put elves on top of it.
Accurate, yes.
Accurate. I do want to bring up like a truly critical moment in these 2 chapters. I know it's like bearing the lead because it's right at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Aragon almost passes out at the end of the 2nd chapter, but he
Uh-huh.
doesn't
He
actually.
doesn't. Yeah,
Isn't
I
that
noticed
amazing?
too.
Oh, wait. He didn't actually finish the chapter unconscious?
Exactly.
No, he didn't.
He only almost passes out.
Is Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he just sags against a wall.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
big deal.
I like specifically read the first couple
Me
sentences of the
too.
next chapter to like make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
he's
like,
not actually
wow.
unconscious, which is
Oh, the
It
streak
only
is
took 18
ruined.
chapters. Well, we'll keep track now. 1.
one. I
Yeah.
feel like it still kind of counts. Like he's
Mhm.
not unconscious, but he's barely conscious. I feel like it counts as like half.
Yeah,
you know?
it counts. He could lose consciousness.
Yeah.
He's in an altered state of mind.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
very tired.
Yeah.
His mental capacity is at 10%.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do one last thing about the horrible scene. Then we
Mhm.
can move on.
Okay.
I am just gonna say, Aragon like shoots a crow that
Yeah.
comes in to
Yeah.
scavenge, and it's like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but also, like, what are you gonna do? Like,
Oh, that's like
these
pure emotional response right there.
yeah,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
mean,
Logic.
scavengers so important
Uh-huh.
because otherwise this is just gonna be a pile of rotting bodies.
Yeah.
Not a good scene.
No, not great.
Listen,
I'm really curious what the intent was behind this.
yeah, because like
whole slayer-
Urgles aren't like premeditated in their actions.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, they're certainly portrayed that way. Like, I know because I've read this series before, in the later books, you get to see more of, like, Urgle culture and, like,
Okay.
how they are as a people, which just makes this all the more confusing.
Okay. Interesting.
It's like, I don't know, because, like, they have, if I remember correctly, they have, like, a very brutalistic society, but they also have, like, a strong code of action within that society.
Okay.
So there must have been some purpose to this, but obviously Aragon doesn't know, therefore we don't know.
Yeah.
But the Urgles are being controlled by someone, right?
Yeah, so they're controlled by or working for or in some capacity enthralled by Galbatorix, the evil king.
Yeah.
Right. The big
Mhm.
king or whatever his
Big
name
king.
is.
Yeah.
Big King!
Big king.
Big
Mhm.
King! Galbatrox.
Go.
Yeah.
Nah. Hannah just said it.
I know. Galbatorix.
Sure, there
Yeah.
you go.
That's the one.
Galbatrix. Whichever one.
Galbatrix.
Wait, now I'm confusing myself. How do you
This was your fault.
Yeah.
It's Big King!
Big
Big
king.
king.
Big King controls the Urgles. And this is the first time we've actually seen the Urgles, I think. And it's
Yeah.
at least the first time we get a description of them. And they are, well, the one or two that Aragon sees are tall, thick, and broader than a doorway. They have gray skin and yellow, quote, piggish eyes. They have giant ram's horns that grow from their temples, and they have fangs, which is a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah, that is many. Well, wait. Aren't the ram's horns on their helmets?
I don't think so.
I think
it's
I thought they were in their heads.
an iron cap
over,
rested over
yeah.
the pair of ram's horns. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Dang.
they're coming out the heads.
That's a
Yeah, so they-
lot.
They grow horns,
Wild.
which is
For
very fun.
competition?
yeah, like this is obviously some kind of sexual selective pressure.
yeah.
I would assume
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got to be super hot if you have big horns.
Oh yeah. For sure. I
Mhm.
guess they just run into each other during
Yeah.
mating season.
They headbutt
Oh,
a lot.
boy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a social hierarchy thing,
Probably.
Or a sexual
male
attraction
competition.
thing.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure that.
Yeah.
For sure that.
For
Is it
sure.
only the boy Urgles that have horns?
We'll just have to wait and see, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
We
can
didn't get
see
any
I regretted
gender.
that sentence as I started saying it. I was like, I don't. I
Listen,
said I.
Last time we talked about dragon sex, this time we can talk about Urgle sex. It's fine.
Yeah. Kind of wild that they have fangs and horns.
Yeah, that was my thought.
And like yellow eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a weird. Is there any fan art of these guys?
Probably.
Oh, good question.
Maybe we could watch the movie.
No. Under no
What
circumstances.
Whoa.
They're basically like orcs with horns, right?
Yeah.
Is kind of the vibe I get.
They're basically like what you think the devil looks like almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so mad that I Googled Urgle fan art because I didn't want movie versions. And like the third one down is hot. Like, this is unacceptable.
The third one down sort of looks like if Ozai from Avatar The Last
Oh, yeah.
Airbender was super buff and had horns.
Wait,
Yeah.
I just Googled Urgle, so Urgle fan art instead.
Yeah.
Google thinks I mean Rugal fan art. I don't know what Rugal means.
Oh, yeah, me
it's
too.
some guy. It's some guy with blonde hair, a string tie, and a red tuxedo.
That's probably who we meant.
What is this
Definitely.
from the King of Fighters. Okay,
Oh,
that's not
the-
important.
The Urgles from the movie are just guys?
Oh my god, this is awful. Yeah.
Oh.
Are they just they're just men with face paint?
Oh
I
god.
hate,
I
that's
hate that.
so
That's
fine.
awful.
That's great, and I love it.
No wonder
Ooh.
people hated this movie.
The movie was entirely irredeemable.
That's just what I've heard.
Anyway,
Yes,
Anyway.
they have horns, they have fangs, they have gray skin and yellow eyes. They're basically demon aesthetic.
yeah,
Satan.
Also, broader than a doorway is like a weird.
yeah.
Like, are they proportioned like humans? Does that mean they're like 10 feet tall?
I would assume
Or are they
so?
just built like
I
doors?
think they're just wide.
They're just wide.
Just wide. I feel like normally we don't pay attention to what order we talk about things, but we really did jump into the end of the second chapter.
Yeah.
What do you mean we?
This discussion.
You did.
You did
You
it.
started it.
I started it, but now
Well, now we're just going backwards.
sure. Okay, well then talking about the
Okay.
fight with the Urgles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just listen. I'm
Uh-huh.
not great at mentally picturing things that happen in books, but at
Yeah.
this point I've been playing 3 to 4 years of Dungeons and Dragons where I have to visualize battles in my brain.
Yeah.
So
And
hard.
I have so many questions about this fight between Aragon and the Urgles, and I guess Brahm is also there. First off, the Urgle punches Aragon off of his horse when the horse is going at a flat out gallop. So that's, I looked it up, that is 40 to 48 kilometers per hour.
Oh my god.
Or 25 to
Jeez.
30 miles per hour.
Oh
And
my
an Urgle
God.
just fucking appears and punches him off his horse.
Damn.
Oh, amazing.
And then, later, right after, the Urgle chases him and then he, turns around to shoot him. But the Urgle catches up and then it says, the monster collided with Aragon and they fell to the ground in a confused tangle. And then literally, the next sentence, it's Aragon sprang to his feet and rushed back to Brahm. And it's I thought he was tangled with the Urgle. They ran into each other. Did they just, bounce off of one another?
He used his action to become
There's, at least one disengage that needs to happen in there.
yeah.
And then the next one is he barehanded shoves his fingers into the
Yeah.
Urgle that's attacking Brahm. And,
He scratches him real
he's-
hard.
Yeah, clawed the Urgle's side, leaving bloody furrows. What?
Yeah.
Sharpened
Huh?
his nails.
I noticed that
Yeah.
one too. He just cut them yesterday, so they have that that
Yeah,
really
yeah.
sharp edge.
He has kitten claws. They're really sharp.
Oh god.
Anyway, yeah, those were just 3 main questions I have about this fight scene.
The fight scene was clearly choreographed by a 15-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I skimmed over the actual actions of the fight scene because I was like, I can't
Yeah.
try to figure out where all of this is happening. This is too much
Yeah.
for me.
It's a good time.
Yep.
Anyway, that's the fight scene. We don't have to talk about it. I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, I want to ask you guys because I know what's happening, but I want to see if you remember / can guess. At the end of it, when Aragon shoots the arrow that glows with a crackling blue light and then explodes and kills 2 Urgles at once,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is going on there?
That's his tattoo thing on his hand, the connection he has with Saphira. It was magic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I forgot to say, the Gidway Ignacia is glowing after this happens.
I was not
Yeah.
going to say that word.
I can't remember if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It sounds
Probably.
correct. It
Yeah.
sounds very beautiful coming out of your mouth.
I just say it real confidently.
So, as I remember, for some reason my brain is telling me Berserker is like a magic word. Like, isn't it fire or something?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that why it lights the fire? Oh, yeah. So, back in the first chapter that we haven't talked about yet.
Hold on. Let's reverse for a second.
Yeah, Aragon can't start a fire, and then Brahm starts a fire somehow, but he curses, quote unquote, by saying Berserker, and then that's the word that Aragon yells that makes the magic happen. So, like, Berserker is like the fire spell, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's what it is.
It's also the name of the fourth book in the series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Which
what I
is
was
the
like,
red
oh.
one, right?
No, the red one is the second. Berserker is gold.
Okay.
Is it? It's the fourth one, right?
Yeah, the third one is green.
Oh no, it's
right?
the third one. Wait.
I thought it was the second one.
Eldest is the second one, and that one's red.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that for sure, because my brother had those too.
Yeah, I lied. Berserker is number 3, but it's the gold
But
one.
it is the gold one.
And I
Confirmed.
guess Inheritance is number 4.
Oh, Berserker is an ancient Old Norse word meaning fire.
Ah, there you
Yeah.
go.
I don't remember all of the significance that it has, but I think it's sort of like Aragon's Expelliarmus, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's the thing he defaults to.
Every time.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Once he learns how to do magic.
Neat.
Magic.
Uh-huh.
Magique.
I don't know why he yelled the fire spell and the arrow turned into a bomb and didn't just, like, catch on fire.
Yeah, also the fact that
Yeah.
it's like blue crackling light. Like,
It's
I guess
like
that's
electricity?
Saphira energy, but
I definitely got more lightning vibes than fire vibes, but
I agree.
yeah. Well, anyway, maybe it's a catch-all.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, a lot of the intent with the magic words is to, like, channel your intent, so you can use one word to mean many things. So maybe that's what happened.
Sounds like he cast, that was the somatic part of his level 4 lightning bolt that he cast. In this fight.
Somatic? Maybe the verbal part?
Oh yeah, not somatic. What am I thinking of?
Don't
The verbal
know.
part.
It was the verbal component of his lightning bolt spell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, I cannot stop laughing at every time I look over at my notes, I just see how the fuck did an Urgle punch someone off a running horse? I need to scroll away from it.
I wish that scene was in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, if there was like a competent movie made of this book, if Aragon is just like being all startled and sad, and Brahm yells run, and as soon as he turns to run, he just gets smoked off of his horse.
It's so funny. It's so funny to picture.
It would be a good slapstick for the scene about a bunch of dead people and a baby on a spear.
The other entertaining part of my notes is that I've just started, my first note every time has been good morning, beginning of chapter.
Yes.
And then at the bottom it says end of chapter, time for bed.
Not this time though. Amazing.
Not this time. That was only the first one.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you about the scene that gave me a logistical headache trying to figure out how it worked? It was they come up upon Yazuac, which is a small town on the Niner River, some kind of river, and they've come upon it after having walked across a prairie for 4 days, and they notice that there don't seem to be anybody in the streets, and they're like kind of suspicious about that. So they decide, this is the main entrance of the town, let's sneak out and come around a different way. It's like, I have so many questions. First of all, you could see this town coming for hours because the prairie is so flat and you could see it that far away. Second of all, why is the main entrance to the town the direction facing the endless prairie and not on the side on the river, which is where like riverine towns usually face? Third of all, how did you walk into the town, notice that no one was there, and then back out and try to like sneak around when you could see the town from hours away and anybody in the town could conceivably see you even if you snuck back out and like walked around it? Like, what What I don't know
Okay,
how this worked
I
in
also
any
had a
way.
note on this, but yes, I fully agree. I had the
Okay.
same thought.
Before we get too far in, I just need you both to know I did look it up.
Okay.
Oh.
On a flat plane at 5 feet high, on a
Uh-huh.
clear day, you can probably only see about 4.8 kilometers away.
That's what I
Oh.
thought. I was like, I don't think you can actually still see that far because of the curvature of the Earth or
Yeah.
whatever planet this exists on.
I remember when my family did a road trip and we were driving across Canada. There was one night we were going to stop in Winnipeg for the night,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so relieved when we saw Winnipeg in the distance because we had been driving for like 12 hours already. And then it took
Yeah.
us 3 more hours to get to Winnipeg because you can just see it from 3 hours away.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That is a good point, yeah.
My distance is like you can see ground from
Oh,
ground
okay.
4.8 kilometers away, something higher, like if you're at sea level and you can
Right.
see
Yeah.
something higher up,
Yes.
that is probably around 20 kilometers
Oh, okay.
away.
They did say there was a bunch of smoke coming from the chimneys, so maybe that's what they
True.
saw on the approach
Yeah.
to the town,
Yeah.
not like the buildings themselves. But still, like, they came
Yeah.
around to a side entrance. Like, what side entrance? This is a
But,
small
like-
town on a river. There are entrances.
Yeah, are there walls around it? I guess so.
Probably. If it's
Maybe.
like a
They didn't
medieval
mention
fantasy town, most likely.
Yeah.
But also, if like someone was truly hunting them, like if it was like a bounty hunter, assassin type, like anything like the Yazuac, anything like that, like they would know to watch more than one entrance. I was just like, Brom, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Also, they wouldn't have such like an
Sam,
obvious
expert
trap.
assassin.
Yes.
But like, yeah, there's just like a whole lot of problems, and I'm just like, Brom, are you dumb? Like,
Also,
Yeah,
if
it's-
they're in like the plains, like
yeah.
there's probably like any side is an entrance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's trees or whatever in the way.
No.
I was
No,
just like,
it's very
you were
confusing.
you were not efficiently sneaking. You failed at the sneaking. Like,
Yeah.
Poor stealth roll.
just not good sneaks.
Just like a kind of a confusing setup.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
I did sort of laugh because like at the beginning of the chapter they arrive on the plains and they have to like
Mhm.
descend a vertical wall essentially
Yeah.
is what I'm picturing, and then they like head across the plains to get to Yazuac. And like Aragon has like a panic moment when they arrive on the plains, being like, he was so used to being surrounded by mountains and hills that it was wild, that it was flat. And so I just sort of imagined him like pressed up against this wall, like having an agoraphobia panic attack.
Yeah.
Being like, oh god.
Honestly, that's so real though. Like,
Yeah.
it's so disconcerting to be somewhere where you can just see in a million kilometers in every direction. Sorry, where you can see 4.8 kilometers in every direction
Yeah, Hannah.
for the first time. It's trippy.
Yeah. I do recall I did field work in Saskatchewan for a few weeks one summer, and we arrived in Saskatchewan at the museum that we were going to be bringing everything back to. And they were like, oh yeah, the field site. Just drive 4 hours on the highway and then turn right at the tree. And we were like, huh? And then we get there and we're like, there hasn't been a tree in 4 hours.
That's funny.
So now
Wow,
we know.
yep. Saskatchewan. What a place.
That's my experience with Aragon's plains.
Hmm.
Kind of weird that they don't have like a name.
Yeah,
Just the planes.
I was thinking that too. Maybe they do on the map and it just didn't come up in the chapter.
Yeah. Like normally in like high fantasy books, it would be like the Dead Sea or the grass, ocean of grass or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
The Grass Sea or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
I just pulled up the map.
Yeah,
Me too.
I'm looking at it too. I don't think so.
No, it doesn't seem to have a name.
No.
No, it doesn't have a name. I guess it's in the scheme of Allegasia. It's like not, or Allegasia. I think I've been neglecting a syllable. I think it's Allegasia. But I guess in the scheme of Alagasia, this plane is not actually that big.
That's fair, yeah. Even though
Yeah.
it took them 4 days to
It took them
cross.
4
That's
days.
a long time. I don't know, like, just because it was specifically mentioned, like, again, at the beginning of the Thunder Roar and Lightning Crackle chapter, Aragon is all sad and grouchy about how Brahm is overworking him and he's all like sore and hurt from their
Yeah.
practice. But he specifically says, like, and one of his fingers was hot and swollen. And I'm like, you have an infection.
Yeah.
Like, Aragon's gonna die of infection
You're
in
gonna
chapter
die.
19.
Got some flesh-eating disease.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He like got an infection probably from like cutting his finger playing with sticks with Brahm, but not from having all of the skin on the inside of his
Yeah.
legs rubbed off a couple chapters ago.
Like, Aragon has so many injuries. Like,
Oh my god.
riding a horse is probably really not great for the insides of his legs, which are
No.
definitely not healed yet.
No, it's
Nope.
been like 3 days.
Yeah. He's got all these minor injuries from stick fighting.
Uh-huh.
Like, his lips are cracked and bleeding from plains passage. Aragon's gonna die of a lot of infections
He's
all at the same time.
Yeah. He
he's
is.
gonna be in such bad shape.
So this is something that was, this might be a minor spoiler.
That's okay.
Okay, I won't say what it is then. In a
Oh.
book I read quite recently, there was a character who was like immortal but had like a chronic illness
Oh, that sucks.
that like would have killed them if they hadn't been immortal. And so like that's sort of like I just like what like Aragon can get injuries and like have all these issues, but like in theory if he's a dragon rider, he should be basically immortal. So like that's an interesting concept to think of.
Yeah.
Being like, imagine if you did get like Lyme disease or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From these horrible injuries. Like that, and then what?
I always just assumed immortality also meant like disease resistant.
Yeah.
But
I don't know
that
why
is
though.
Yeah. That's a good point
Right?
though.
A lot of them do make it that, but
Mhm. Yeah, what
It's
if
true,
not?
because like, yeah, what if you just got a chronic disease, or like what if genetically you
Yeah.
had something but you're
Yeah.
immortal, but it's not something that would kill you? Like if it's like fibromyalgia, for example, like that's just chronic pain all the time.
Yeah,
Forever. Oh, God.
forever.
I
Yep.
mean, like, that's the reality for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
But most people only live for like 80-ish years.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I will
Cool, I
say
hate that.
in the book I read, it was definitely a very interesting character dynamic
Yeah, I
with
bet.
that. So
Now I'm trying to figure out
Damn.
what book you read.
guess you'll just have to read every book that I read in the last 3 years.
I
Dang.
mean,
I mean,
It
you
take
guys
a while.
probably will
yeah.
at some point.
Probably. One of the things I did like about this Thunder Roar and Lightning Crackle chapter, which is basically just they walk across the plains and get caught in a storm, is you actually get a moment of seeing Saphira's character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which we haven't really had before. But she gets like caught in this wind. There's like this like very unusual seeming like wall of wind that like hits them like a train.
Yeah.
And Aragon and Brahm are ahead of Saphira, and Aragon calls back for Saphira to land, but she can't land fast enough, gets caught in the wind, and then like can't close her wings and kind of just gets tossed around like a kite. So Aragon goes to help her out. And at the end of it, when they like finally get everything under control and they're both like safe on the ground, you see that Saphira is like really shook up about this, and she is really upset at the sensation of not being in control.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's very unsettled by having felt helpless in like the face of a power that is larger than her,
Yeah.
which makes sense, but it's also like the first time that we really get a sense of, I guess, a weakness for Saphira.
Yeah, the note I wrote about it is like, because we went from Saphira being a baby to like she calls Aragon hatchling, you know,
Yeah.
and it sort of felt
Yeah.
like she just immediately went from like baby to like mother,
Yeah.
right?
Sure,
But
yeah.
like, Yeah, but like this sort of refocused that for me, and I was like, oh, like Saphira's like a cocky teen.
Mm.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's the age she's in,
Mhm.
right? So like when she was acting like all like she knows everything and she's so much older than Aragon, right? It
Mhm.
like could have just been that talking, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, Saphira's still like young.
Yeah, she's not mature yet.
Yeah. Cause yeah, she's like frightened and like didn't know what to do when faced with a thunderstorm. Like she didn't understand the danger because she'd never experienced one before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just wish Aragon had told her to fly high instead of to land.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was just too big of
Too
a
high.
storm. Like it says that it's quite the striking like thunderhead.
Yeah, I do remember that. I just feel like it still would have been more feasible for her to fly above it, but then again, we don't know the atmosphere of this fantasy planet and
Yeah.
Mhm.
what sort of air chemistry is going on, so maybe there's not enough oxygen above. I don't know.
I mean, she did fly over a mountain in the spine, but
Yeah. Also,
See?
there was that one scene where like she flew so high that she was no bigger than like an eagle or something.
Yeah. So I was
So
like,
like she can get pretty high.
yeah.
and it's like even the most intense of storms, like you can still get on top of them, I feel.
That's what airplanes do.
Maybe she was already
Yeah,
flying
that's why I was like,
low.
I'm not dumb,
Mhm.
right? Like that's what airplanes do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, couldn't like that's what I'm envisioning is like you could see the storm coming, so on the approach, just get up higher. But obviously, I guess Aragon and Brahm don't know that either because airplanes don't exist. So, um,
True.
I guess I can't fault them too much for missing this logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. My guess would be like what Sophie said, that Saphira was probably just closer to the ground and they thought it would be
Yeah,
easier to get there.
Easier. Yeah.
true.
But this might also be one of the things that I think has cropped up a lot in this book, which is where Christopher Paolini wants a thing to happen and that's why it happens.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
really follow a storytelling logic. It's just like, this is the thing that needs to happen for the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that
No.
Yeah.
most of the time.
I did like enjoy this because I don't know, prairie thunderstorms are like not to be taken lightly.
No, not
They are
at
also
all.
very cool if you're safe.
Literally traumatized me when I was
Yeah.
5 years old living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I
Oh,
would
God.
not go outside for a year.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Yeah, I was like, I still have vivid memories of this. I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. I remember the bed sheets, they were 101 Dalmatians. And I remember my mom wasn't home and my dad had to comfort me, and there's shingles flying off the roofs. And like my mom told me I did not go outside for a year because
Oh
this
my
storm
God.
traumatized me so bad.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
God.
So prairie storms or
Yeah.
like you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah, which is like wild that Brahm
No.
is just like, yeah, normally I wouldn't do this, but it's gonna hit us anyway, so let's just keep moving. It's like,
Yeah.
like what are you thinking? Like
Brahm
clearly
is an
you
idiot.
know. Yeah, I was like, clearly you know what a prairie thunderstorm is. So anyway,
Brahm has some like
Yeah.
questionable adult like advice going on
Yeah.
with this adventure. Like
yeah,
not a
Mhm.
responsible adult.
like especially
Again,
that
for
he
obvious
didn't
reasons.
consider.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that he didn't consider that
Yeah.
Saphira should land. Like,
Mhm.
come on.
Yeah.
Can I talk about Aragon jumping on her wings?
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
Saphira gets hit by the wind and like it flips her over onto her back. And then like she can't close her wings because they keep catching the wind and she can't close them. So Aragon like jumps on her wings and helps her to fold them.
Mhm.
But I want to talk about how that's a terrible idea.
Wouldn't he like tear through them
Okay.
if they're like
Yeah, the first, yeah, that's like one thing. Like the skin on wings like is very pretty delicate. Like you on bat wings, you kind of want to be gentle. But I assume on like a reptile, maybe they're scaled, maybe they're a little stronger. But the big thing is that if you're that big and you're flying, your body kind of needs to be developed to like reduce weight wherever possible. And
Mhm.
in birds, the major way they reduce weight is they have hollow bones,
Mm-hmm.
which means they're like they have like when you say birds have hollow bones, it's not like there's just like the outer shell and then the insides are just nothing. It's more like when humans get osteoporosis and there's all those little like
Yeah.
holes in bones. That's sort of what a bird
Hmm.
bone looks like, but like kind of bigger. There's like strengthening cross beams and things like that, but they are mostly hollow, and those hollow parts are filled with like air sacs that connect to the lungs
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
in a lot of places. So they are literally like air filled,
Oh.
which means they're like more like they are more prone to breaking than like a solid bone.
Yeah. More brittle.
Yeah, so Aragon just like jumping on her wings, which are already like very
Aw.
thin bones. They've already mentioned that. Jumping on them, the outside in is like, oh god. Like, I cringed when it said that. I was like, oh no.
I
That's a
mean,
bad idea.
I don't think. Yeah, I think he didn't say he hurt her, so I think her wings are fine. But I
Yeah.
also thought that
Mhm.
I was just like, couldn't like I was more like, can't he like if they're like membranes, like couldn't he just go right through them?
Yeah, I think if they weren't already on the ground.
Yeah.
I definitely read it as him like jumping on the, I guess,
Inside?
finger part, not on the
Oh,
membrane
that would make
itself.
sense. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also kind of got in the loop of like, oh, he jumped on her wings, but like nothing happened, so they must be pretty strong. And
Yeah.
she has to be pretty strong to be able to like fly with her giant heavy dragon body. But then she's
Yeah.
also not strong enough to fold
Yeah.
her wings against the wind, so she can't be that strong. But if she's not that strong, then how did Aragon jump on her without hurting her? And I like got in a
In a
got in a loop.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, like, it's weird that like her wings don't have a functionality to like dump air.
Yeah.
Right? Like bird wings, like their feathers can rotate in such a way that they can like stop getting as much lift, or they can like twist their wings. The way
Yeah,
that Saphira couldn't like rotate her wings to put them
yeah.
like into the wind or something was like like a lot of just a lot of confusion.
Yeah, it's interesting that she wasn't able to control herself enough, especially with like her forelegs. She just needs to get her forelegs on the ground and then like angle her wings down, right? You'd
Yeah,
Yeah.
think.
because it even said she like gripped the ground.
Maybe this is another case of she's too young and inexperienced to know what to
Yeah,
do. Like she
Yeah.
that's
just
what I'm
got caught up in
thinking.
it and then like couldn't figure out how to get herself out of it.
Yeah,
Next
Probably.
time she'll be fine, but this time she didn't know
yeah,
what to do and just kind of snowballed,
yeah,
tumbleweeded.
yeah. Makes sense. Tumbleweeded across the plains. Bye, bye,
Goodbye.
Saphira.
Was that a
Was that
dragon?
a dragon
What's that?
flipping around?
Real big tumbleweeds out there.
Yeah,
This tumbleweed was roaring.
it was breathing fire at me. Weird.
Strange.
I want you both to know that I saved you both from having to hear me talk
What?
about parasites.
Oh, so generous.
But you
Because
brought it up now.
yeah, but I'm explaining why. Because Aragon, at the beginning of this chapter, Aragon and Brom fill their water skins from the river. And
Oh
I
my
was
god.
like, gosh, I wonder how many diseases you can catch from a river.
So many.
Is there Giardia and Alagasia?
There's probably Giardia, but I like Googled riverborne pathogens or whatever. And then I like saw the Google search appear. And then I was like, I swim in rivers. I actually don't want to know this.
Yeah.
And then I closed it. So we're just going to say don't drink raw river water.
No.
Yes.
Never.
Filter your water, boil your water, treat your water. Don't drink
Yeah.
it raw.
Otherwise, that's how you get Giardia or E. coli.
Nobody wants that.
Mm-mm.
So these two chapters had a lot of new names, and
Okay.
because you both like to mention that I can't pronounce Carvajal.
Uh-huh.
Carvajal.
Yep.
I thought we could play a game of how would Sam pronounce this fantasy name.
Sure.
Okay.
So you've both kind of said one of them a lot, which I don't remember how I originally thought it would go, but I have a list of the
Okay,
new
great.
words that came up.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
So the first one is Siyunan.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I don't. How do you say it?
I don't even know which one you're referring to. Let me
Spelt Ceunon. It was near
Oh.
beginning of the
The
Thunder
three
chapter.
paths,
Yes.
right?
One of
Yes.
the great northern cities. I would say Sunan, but
Yeah,
I'd
that's
also
what I
need to
would
check the
say.
pronunciation guide.
I
Okay.
would say Sunan.
Okay, so that's one.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
The second, Yazuac?
Yazuac?
Yeah.
Yazuac.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay,
Crushed
only
it.
because I've heard you guys say it multiple times, but I mean, that hasn't helped Carvajal, so
No.
You got it that time though.
got
just
it.
can't
There we
think
go.
about it.
I can't think about it. Okay, the third one is Ninor River?
Yeah.
Niner? Ninor?
Ninor?
I went Ninor, but it could also be Niner.
Love it.
Okay,
You're doing great, Sam.
next, Anora?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
sounds right.
Crushed that one.
Yeah. That one I like because I keep thinking it's Enora, which is the order that frogs are in, but it's not.
Oh,
I keep
Every
thinking
single time
it's-
I'm like, frogs? The Frog River? And it's like, no, it's not.
I keep thinking it's Adora from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Both great.
Yeah.
Oh, I found the pronunciation guide,
Okay.
and it's Ninor River,
Ninor.
which I think is what none of us said that, I don't think.
Nope, I don't think
think
any
I
of us
said
got that
Ninor.
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even I think I said Ninor.
Yeah.
I don't even remember now.
Wait, what's the
Ninor.
correct way now?
Ninor.
Ninor. Okay. The next one is the horse's name, so I think it may have come up a chapter before, but I just thought of this game today, so
Yeah.
Kadok?
Duh.
Caddick?
I would say Kadok.
Kadok? Okay. Doing
I mean,
great.
you guys are the ones with like the physical book with the pronunciation guide in it. It might be there.
It's
It's
on
not
the
in the
floor.
online one.
There are 3 floors in our house, and it is on the one floor that Sam and I are not on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's a
did not
problem
think
for
to bring
later.
it up with me. The last one, again, has already been said in the podcast, but let's see if I can say it.
Mhm.
I already forget. Brizinger.
Yeah. I liked the
Brizinger.
very first version where you said Bringer.
It's because my vision has gotten really bad and the text is really small and my laptop's far away, so I was like, Brizinger.
Oh my god.
Brizinger.
Anyways, that's my game. Come back next episode for more of
Yay.
how would Sam pronounce this fantasy name?
And we're just gonna add Carvajal to every version and see how you say it each time.
Carvajal.
And
Big
what's the
king.
big king's name?
Galbatorix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done
Got
it. And what's the magic thing on Aragon's hand called?
You. I literally have no idea how to say it. Hannah says it's so lovely.
I
Hannah,
just
how do you
checked and
say it?
I'm not quite pronouncing it correctly. Apparently it's Gidway Ignacia. And I was saying Gidway Ignacia.
Kidway
Oh.
Ignacia?
Great.
Ignazia. Gidway Ignazia.
Nausea.
I'm done.
Like you're about to puke.
I'm
Nausea.
done.
Nausea. Okay, great. That's easy.
Yep. Good stuff.
Fun.
On the subject of the Gidway Ignazia, Aragon says it like tingled right before the Urgles show up. Like it was a spidey sense. But then it
Ooh.
also appeared when he touched Saphira and glowed brightly and felt cold when he did magic. Which seems like 3 kind of
Yeah.
disparate things.
Well, are the Urgles magic?
I don't know.
Because maybe it just
Maybe.
does stuff when magic is around?
Yeah, could be. I didn't think the Urgles were magic, but maybe they are.
Or is it like the Sting in Lord of the Rings, where it glows blue when it senses orcs?
Oh, maybe. That would make sense.
Yeah, it feels like it's something
Yeah.
like that. Maybe there's like some connection to it, like the Urgles are formed of the same magic or something, so
Hmm.
it like can sense it, but I feel like he probably took the inspiration from Sting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which yeah, just glows blue whenever there's orcs present, and then Frodo gets the sword in Lord of the Rings.
Beautiful.
Hmm. I did not make that connection, but that makes a
But
lot of
that makes
sense now that you've
sense.
pointed
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, that's I think that's where it most likely came from.
Mhm.
Yeah, although it seems in this context, it's more like it does stuff when something important is happening.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
where the sword just glows, but yeah.
Whereas the sword has a rule.
Yeah, the
Yes.
sword literally is just like, oh, there's an orc near. Don't know where, don't know how close, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be able to unpack the secrets of the Gidway Ignazia later in the series.
One can only hope.
Mhm.
Yep.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, which it's not really a question, it's more of a comment.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Get out of here with that.
How dare
No,
you?
it's it's me reading a thing in a book and being like, I should tell other people to read a different book because of this.
Okay.
Brahm mentions that he won't get lost when finding Yazuac because he is guided not by the land but by the stars and sun.
Uh-huh.
And in the last year, I think almost about a year ago, I read this book about wayfinding, like a nonfiction book about wayfinding. And if you haven't ever like read about Polynesian wayfinding and how people used to navigate the Pacific Ocean, you should check it out at some time. This is for either of you guys or the listeners, just anybody at all.
I remember you mentioning this one in one of our early
Yeah.
episodes.
It's really incredible. And like since then I've looked into it a little bit more. There's like an active Polynesian like voyaging society where they're trying to bring back the traditional methods of navigating the ocean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, sort of pioneered by this guy named Nainoa Thompson, where they're like voyaging across the Pacific Ocean
That sounds so scary.
on like on a deep sea canoe built like in the traditional Hawaiian
hell.
way.
That
Yeah,
sounds so cool.
and they're navigating solely like by this wayfinder
Mm-mm.
who like
Nope.
doesn't sleep. Like he just doesn't sleep while they're voyaging from island to island cuz he has to be awake to do it. So
That's any.
yeah. The book I read was called The Wayfinders by Wade Davis, but like if you want to check out hokulia.com, we'll put a link somewhere. That's the Polynesian Wayfinding Society. It's a really interesting, like amazing, incredible thing that humans can do. So
Cool.
yeah.
Brahm can do it too, apparently.
Brahm can do it too. Yeah, so
Should we talk about what's going to happen next in this book?
whoa, yeah, let's talk about what's going to happen next in this book. The next two chapters are called Admonishments and Magic is the Simplest Thing.
Oh god.
Mhm. He's going to learn how to do some simple magic, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna wake up and fall asleep.
Probably at least twice.
He's starting this chapter already awake,
That's a great point.
which is unusual.
Then he's gonna fall asleep, wake
Yeah.
up, and fall asleep.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen.
I think so too.
And learn some magic in there at some point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that we went from like Death Watch to Magic is the simplest thing.
Yep.
These chapter titles kill
Really
me.
a
They're a
lot of whiplash.
Like, I just what?
They're also like not very helpful. Like they
Yeah.
don't they give you too much information and it's the wrong information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like revelation at Yazuac. What was the revelation?
That
That
the
everyone's
Urgles
dead.
are terrible.
That Urgles kill people? We already knew that Urgles were
Yeah.
bad. They were presented as like the bad guys.
I thought like there would be some sort of like I might have predicted, I don't remember if it was like he was going to find out something about his past or like his link to the original Aragon. Like that's kind of what it insinuates, but literally
Yeah.
what was the revelation?
There was no
That
revelation.
Aragon
Like-
can do magic.
I guess.
Maybe?
That
Maybe?
Urgles can punch someone off a moving horse.
That's probably it.
That Brom
that's the
doesn't know
one.
how to infiltrate a city.
Yeah.
Also that.
Yeah. Like, it
Yep.
should have been, like, I feel like, it doesn't matter, but it should have been, like, horror at Yazuac or something like
should,
that,
yeah.
you know, like,
Or even just like danger at the Yazuac.
yeah.
Not revelation.
No.
Revelation implies you discover something, which kind of implies positive.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, and in magic is the simplest thing, he probably learns magic.
Yeah. Is admonishment Brom admonishing Aragon or Aragon admonishing Brom?
Maybe it's
one.
Aragon admonishing Saphira for not showing up.
Oh.
That seems like something he would do.
Yes, it does.
I told you to go hide a couple kilometers away and then you didn't come when I needed you.
Or what if it's Saphira showing up and being like, why'd you tell me to stay back there? How dare you?
Yeah.
That also seems very in character.
Yeah. Two
You know.
shitty teens yelling at each other.
Yep. I love
Great.
it.
Because Brom is passed out. So maybe
Yeah.
he's not awake in the next chapter.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the beginning of a chapter.
Aragon
to be
didn't fall
awake.
asleep at the end of the
Brom.
chapter, but Brom did.
It has to be at least one, I guess.
He has to wake up at the next one then.
True.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We figured those out.
We've done
guess. We've done it. I
Maybe.
guess let's talk about what books we're reading this time. I was doing a lot of writing last week, so I am only reading one new book, but I started Under the Whispering Door,
Yay.
and I'm already emo about it.
It's pretty
Aw.
good, eh?
It's gonna hurt me.
Oh, it will.
I can tell.
Has it made you
It's-
cry yet, or is that still coming?
I cried a little bit already.
Aww.
It's so fun, but I'm going to enjoy it, and it's also gonna hurt me, but like it's gonna be great.
It's like that prophecy from one of the Harry Potter books where you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm reading.
Nice.
Good choice.
Well, my field work has all been canceled, so I've just been, depression reading like crazy. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Remember how we said we were like recording a whole bunch of episodes super early because Sam had fieldwork?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out.
Turns out I'm still behind a microscope.
Hey.
But I am currently reading The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen, which is the third book in the Bridge Kingdom
Ooh.
series, which I love very dearly. So
Is
it's
it
great.
everything you dreamed?
It's not. It's not the same. The Bridge Kingdom just like holds such a special place in my heart because like
Yeah.
the Bridge Kingdom is like almost like what I seek in a book, perfection.
Oh.
It's just everything. So it's
Yeah.
hard to beat that.
What's the first book in that?
The first book is called The Bridge Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
And the second book is called The Traitor Queen. And so The Inadequate Heir, it's in the same universe, but the main characters are two side characters that were brought up in the first two books.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, because so Danielle Jensen is primarily like a fantasy romance writer. Like that's what she markets herself as, and she's really good at it. So basically, yeah, the first two books were about like the one relationship, and now the second two are about this next couple. So it's good. It's just like I don't think anything will ever top The Bridge Kingdom for me. Like it was just perfection in my eyes. So yeah, I'm reading that, and then I'm reading another fantasy romance book called Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello, which is a Kindle Unlimited book, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, and then as far as books I've finished, I don't even know anymore. Oh, I did want to shout out People We Meet on Vacation. Great rom-com. It's really hyped on Book Talk, but like well-deserved. And For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. Also good.
Ooh.
Enjoyed
Oh,
that.
I want to read that one.
That's it.
I believe you said that it would be exactly my so
Yeah, it's like it's literally like a Red Riding Hood, Beauty and the Beast fairy tale retelling all in one.
yeah.
Like, yeah, and I feel like you would very much enjoy it.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
I definitely recommend reading it though. The audiobook, the narrator is fine. Her male voices were just not good.
Got it.
It's crazy how much the narrator like affects how much you like an audiobook.
Yeah, and that was the thing is like I could tell I'd like this book, but I just didn't like listening to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it at like 1.75 speed.
Oh my god.
Anyways, great book. Just maybe read the physical copy, skip the audiobook if you have the choice. Hannah?
Got it.
Yeah, I mentioned in the last episode that I dumped a hurricane on my life and it has continued, so I haven't had a lot of time to read actually in any format, but I've had a little more time to read audiobooks than paper books. So the one I'm currently reading is Dead Wake, The Last Crossing of the Lusitania by Eric Larson. So it's a nonfiction narrative about the Lusitania, which was this like huge luxury passenger boat that was sunk by a submarine in World War II. So it's very much in my current wheelhouse of maritime disaster nonfiction audiobooks.
Yep.
That checks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not super far into it because of aforementioned not having time to do anything, but it's good so far. I don't know much about this story, so I'm curious to see why it's such a big deal. That's I'm still reading Kenobi in paper.
I mean, that was like me in August and September, so
Yeah.
I feel yeah. Like the sheer amount of books I'm getting through is literally just because I listen to audiobooks all day at work.
Yeah,
Nothing else.
I have to write most of the time at work, so I can't listen to anything. But if you liked this chapter of Midlight Crisis, consider rating and reviewing us on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And like us, 3 people living directly on the Atlantic coast, Aragon decided it would be the wind that drove him crazy first.
It's true.
So accurate.
Not the foghorn.
Or maybe the foghorn.
Maybe the foghorn.
The foghorn has literally been going this whole time.